I'm from the Bay, that's how we speak. I'm from the Bay. I'm from the Bay. I'm from the Bay. I'm from the Bay. That's how.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are installing subs and an amp in my wife's 2021 Honda Accord Sport using the OEM head unit. We didn't want to change the head unit, so this is what we're going to be using to make sure it works. So all you need to do is get this part. If you want to keep the OEM head unit, you get this. It's a kicker, like a signal. So you connect these to the back speakers, the left side, the right side. Here's your remote wire that goes to the amp, and here is the ground. You ground this off with the amp. You plug this into the back, and then you run all your wires just into the trunk, and it'll power up the sub. This is what we're working with. So we got a Boss capacitor. Let me back you out a little bit. And we got a SCAR amp with a SCAR 10-inch sub in a box. I just mounted them both to the back of the box, make it easier. If I ever want to take it out, I just disconnect it and pull it out. So this is what we're doing. We're going to connect these to the rear speakers of the car. We're going to run a remote wire. This is the remote wire. We're going to run a wire from this to the capacitor right here. And then we're going to run a wire off of this to plug into the amp to the remote side of the amp. So that way, once this kicks on, as soon as you turn on the car, this should power on. And it's going to send signal to this, and then it's going to signal to this. The same thing, the battery cable from the car comes to this. And then out of the same thing into the amp. So power from the car to the capacitor to the amp. Same thing with the ground. You're going to take the ground from the amp, run it to the ground to here, to the capacitor, and then the ground from the capacitor to the chassis of the car. And then that in turn should signal everything. Let me take you over here to the front real fast. Here's the power cable, as you can see on the floor. I already started. I'm going right behind, here's the battery. I don't know if you can see back there. There it is. We're going in through that boot. I did a little slit right there. And as you can see with this, it's just a little like old dipstick that I had laying around. So I'm gonna tape the end of the cable to this right here. And then we're gonna pull this through, which is inside the car. Let me show you. See it laying right there on the floor. We're gonna pull it inside the car, feed it all the way through, and just leave the wire that we need to connect the fuse to the battery. And then we're gonna run the power cable all the way along inside of here, through the back, all the way inside of here, underneath the seat, and it's gonna come out right here. And then this is where the sub's gonna be sitting. And then I'm just gonna sand a little bit right here, put a self-tapper for the ground, and we'll go from there. But I'm not gonna do like fully detailed. I'm just gonna continue on with the work, and then we'll get back to you to let you know if that kicker thing actually works or not. I heard a lot of mixed reviews, so I'm gonna test it. If this video gets posted, well, then it worked. If this video doesn't get posted, then I have to buy a head unit, and we're gonna go that way. Okay, everyone, so it's been a few days since my last update with that little, when I was telling you if the kicker was gonna work or not. It's actually been a week, so it did work. It did work. My wife's had the sub and amp working in her car for about a week now. Let me go ahead and show you everything. The wiring ain't the prettiest. I had to hurry up and finish it because well, she had to get ready to go to work and stuff. But let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. Let me power on the car so you can see that everything works, and I'll go over like a final run through. And yeah, but I mean, that little piece worked. So this is what it looks like. Sorry for the stuff in her trunk. This is all her work stuff and stuff like that. But I got like the spade ends, like the male spade ends, to like plug in. And as you can see, I ran the wire. There's one of the wires right there. So like I said, it had a gray and black, and then a solid gray, white and black, and a solid white. Those are for left and right speakers. So I plugged them in and I ran them like that. So if you just pull that this little cap right here, you just pull it down and you plug in the spade ends, just jam them in there. So that way you don't have to splice or nothing. And if you ever want to change it, you just pull them out, cut the zip tie, and then it's all back to factory. But I plugged the positive, which is the solid blue one, to the yellow. And then there's a brown. So I did the negative to that, positive and negative. So, and then I did the same thing over here on this end. As you can see, popped this little cap open, jammed them in there. And this one had a white and blue, so I did the negative to the white, the positive to the blue, and then ran the wires. And you can see the RCA, oh shit, sorry. You can see the RCA cable right there going up into there and just right down into the amp. Here's the box itself. Also the remote wire, I ran the remote wire to the capacitor, and then the ground wire from this to the ground wire of the capacitor. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Okay, so here it is. Like I said, all the wiring's just ran in here. I'll clean it all up later. It's just a mess with wiring. I'll clean all that junk up later. But here's the amp, here's the capacitor. This is the battery wire from the car, the positive wire from the car. I connected it straight to the amp. To the capacitor. From the capacitor up to the amp, to the positive. And then the negative of the amp down to the capacitor. The negative from the capacitor grounded it out to the car. It's just a little like self-tapper. Sanded a spot, put a self-tapper in with that. This is the ground wire from that unit up there, the kicker thing. That runs down and then just grounds off with the amp, or with the capacitor and amp. And then here's the remote wire. I did the remote wire from the amp to the capacitor, and then from the capacitor to that kicker unit. Now let me show you that everything powers on. Now here it is. There's the digital readout. As you can see, the blue light's on from the amp. There's a little red light over there. That's from that kicker thing. But everything works. And then close that up. I ran the positive cable from the battery all along here. Like I said in the first part, through there and up into the firewall. The bass knob remote is ran through here with the power cable. And then it cuts over to the dash, and then the bass knob is just right here. But quick, easy install. But that's it. It was a quick install. The hardest part of it was running the wires, like it always is on the stereo. But that's a cheap way and an effective way so far. If you want to keep your OEM, your factory stereo in your car and still run a sub and amp, that's the best way to do it. Let me go ahead and find the box. I'll get back to you. Well, I couldn't find the box. I guess it got thrown away already. I'll insert a picture at the end of this video of the actual like little unit that I used. It was on Amazon. It was like 20 bucks or 25 bucks or whatever it was. But it actually worked, as you can see. Powered everything on. Give it a try. So that's it. That's how you install subs and amp on a factory head unit on a Honda Accord. This is a 2021 Sport. I also got another video Before this one, it's called like how to bypass the A and C module. You need to do that on the Accord Sport. I didn't do that at first, and every time she was driving, the sub was making all kinds of weird noises and blah, 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 and freaking out. So I had to disconnect the A and C module, and then now everything works perfect. So I got the whole video on how to do that in a previous video before this one. So go ahead and check that one out if you're doing this to it. So yeah, comment down below what you guys think. Like this video. And until next time, stay safe. Peace.